Hi, everyone, and welcome to our first episode of Her Data Learns. Today, we're so excited to have Priyanka Dobhal with us, and she's going to be teaching us web scraping 101. Literally, we're going to have a class right here, right now. Priyanka is the technical lead at User Ready, and she's calling in all the way from India, from Bangalore, India, right?
That's right. You
Okay,
nailed
so
it.
Priyanka, can you tell us, because we know that you learned web scraping by yourself, and can you tell us why you wanted to learn web scraping by yourself and that kind of process really quickly before you start teaching us?
Sure. So it started with my old crazy ideas. I just have so random ideas that I can't find data sets on them. I'm just watching a series. I'm like, okay, I should get the data set for this series. What's the viewership? What's the rating? What's this? What's that? I'm like, I need to learn something, or I need to literally copy paste it. And I did copy paste initially, literally copy pasted a couple of things, but it got a little tedious with those cleaning things and pasting things. And then there were times when I had to iterate on the same uh, link, maybe season wise. And I'm like, okay, this is going beyond the hand. I need to learn something, or maybe learn some technologies to get this thing done. I came across this concept called web scraping. It's actually from a friend, and he said, it's not too hard. You just have to get some libraries and some Python. And I'm like, okay, I'm new to Python. I did do once or twice a long back, like print hello world, but I don't consider that as learning Python. So it started with basics of Python, and then a little bit of web scraping, easy text and hard text, and then little iteration, proper workflows, and all those things. It started getting easier when I started doing it more. Like the pattern was kind of getting familiar with me. And to be honest, it's not very tough. Like if you have basic understanding and you have done it once or twice, you'll start getting it very similar kind of concept. So it won't be too hard to learn.
We hope so.
I know you had me at Python. I thought, oh, new technology for me. Okay. I'm excited. Let's do this.
Same.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and I think I told you guys, but in case anybody watching sees me suddenly disappear, I'm at home with a sick baby, so life happens. I'm here to learn, but I might be here to learn and teach my 11-month-old. So here we go.
Life goes on.
Okay. Yep. Let me start it up. Okay, great. So before I start with actual Python, I want to get into basics of HTML, because anything you'd see on the web page is actually a HTML code, and it's just a format of text. So if you see some website and it has a bold text and it has a big font, it's all because it's having some formatting done in HTML. So there are basically two things that you need to understand. First is a tag, and other is an attribute. So everything in HTML comes under a tag. A tag is something like this. It just starts with a bracket kind of thing, and it ends with a bracket kind of thing with this mark. And anything between it is formatted in the way it's mentioned in the tag. So, for example, if I say this bold thing, the B thing, it actually means bold in HTML. So it's telling this HTML that you need to print this as a bold in the website. And that's what HTML would convert it to do. The second part of it is an attribute. So each text sometimes has a kind of additional properties. Like I want to bold this text, but I want this to be center aligned. And I need to tell my HTML code that, you need to align the center in a center, and it just picks up this thing. Strangely, this has been truncated here. So I will just jump into my example here. Let's take it from here. So this is a basic structure of HTML. It just starts with this HTML tag. It ends with HTML tag. Yeah.
Great.
And anything that you see with this same notation, it's a tag. So this is a tag, that's a tag, that's a tag. And you would notice that each tag opens and ends, which is true, but that's not always true. It can be like there are some tags that don't have an end, like maybe image. It starts, but it doesn't end. So you don't have an ending tag like /image or something. So it does happen that way, but generally that's the syntax of having a tag, open and close. So that's the first thing that you need to know about HTML. The second thing that as I talked about attribute, that's this portion. So if you see this TD, it's actually a tag, and it says that this tag needs to be center aligned. So I want my text in this tag to be aligned like in the center position, and I need to tell this to HTML, because if I don't, it would probably be left aligned, I guess, and it would not be as per my requirement. So I need to specify this thing in my tags here. Same here, same with this one, and it just does that. When you tell it to do that, it will align the text like that. So if you see, there are two portions of this code, head and body. So each HTML website that you see, it always has a head and body. But you don't need to worry about head right now, because head is just the metadata, and it's nothing that will come up with web scraping. It's just the metadata. I would have information on the website title. For example, what you see on top of this, it's actually a metadata. It's probably a title of the website. So it would come up like this about web scraping. So that's what head is, and that's nothing to worry about right now, because it's not a part of our future web scraping thing. So let's just jump into the body here.
Yeah.
So I would just explain this text a bit more, because if you're new to this, it would be a little hard to understand. So firstly, this when you see the body and this portion that you see under here, this is what you will be seeing on your web page. So from the tag, you may have understood that it's something like a table, which is correct. So my HTML code is telling the website that I need a table structure, and the table should be of width 100%, like fully stretched to the view. And then I'm telling it to have two rows. So TR is actually a row, and I'm telling that the row should be first name. If you see closely, there's one TH and one TD. So TH is table header, TD is just the table row. So I'm just telling my code that, this should be my first name, and the row should have value Jill. So when I see this on web page, this first name would be bold because it's a header. As I told HTML that this is a header, it would bold it for me. So
and it's center aligned, right?
Yes, yeah, that's the scenario.
And this is so important. Obviously, yes, so as you're looking at the website and you're looking, because I've done this a little bit, looking at a website and trying to look at the code, and it kind of, I know some of these tags, but obviously you can get lost with a lot of data on certain sites. Obviously, when you're trying to find something that's obvious, I'm guessing I'm jumping ahead, but that's where it's important. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. So that's the reason you need to understand the hierarchy too. So like I'm saying, the table, inside table, there's a TR, there's a inside TR, there's a TH, because when you actually web scrape this data, you would be following this hierarchy in your code, and this would help you to understand that. So that's the basic here. And I do have some reference of attributes here, but it's a whole long list. I don't expect anybody would know each and every attribute in this case, but there's like tons and tons of attributes.
Oh, wow.
Just minimize this. It's like literally so many that I have not even used them anywhere. So it's,
but that's a really helpful list. Yeah.
So each of them actually provides a meaning to the tag. So you're telling tag to add this kind of thing, like maybe add an action, add some sync. So all those things. It's all properties of the tags. And even there are like so many tags that are not used so many, but the basic tags that I would say, if you go through a website, you'll always see A. A is actually a link. You're telling HTML that I need a link. So I'll add this A tag. B is bold. You'll just add the content in between the tag, and it just turns it to bold, which is very cool. Hope that covers a bit of idea that you know how to scrape it, because if you understand this structure, that's all you need for the future scraping.
That's all I need. All right. I feel good.
You're
Yes.
confident. I'm ready.
Great. Okay. So let's move on to steps that we would be following for web scraping. These are just high level steps, and don't worry, I'll give you an example properly. So obviously we need a URL. So for this, I took a random URL because I actually scraped these tags and HTML attributes from this website.
Yeah.
That's where I got it from. And once you have the tag ready, you need to inspect the page. So I will cover that properly, but inspect basically shows the code behind the HTML page, and you can even point out the exact tag being used. It's very cool, and you'll easily find the tag you're searching for using that inspect.
Okay. You said
And
easy. I'm holding you to that.
and then you have some libraries that you need to import, must use libraries, and this part basically is all about trial and error, because you have to be careful with the nesting of tags. Sometimes your output won't come up easily. You will have to try different tags, different methods to get the same object. So I feel this part is always trial and error for me. It never comes up in one go.
Okay, that's nice to hear, actually. That's
Yeah, I'm like, well, if I struggle on step 2, there's a problem. But if I struggle on step 3, she says it's okay.
Yeah, and once you have your basic logic ready, you have to just club those things together. Sometimes you have to iterate on the objects, like you have multiple same elements, you want to iterate on the tags, and that's where you use those loops and them to iterate and combine the code. So just combine them and run that, and just store it in any format that you want. Usually I do Excel. So that's the final step.
Okay, question. So when we're running these, and we know what we know about HTML now, essentially is web scraping. We're just looking for the information between tags. Is that what we're going to do?
Yes, that's right. So we are trying to identify the tag basically, and that would be that we can use to extract the information from.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay, so that's it. Okay, great. So before we jump into actual examples, I'll be just giving a brief information of this libraries that we're using in this scenario.
okay.
So luckily, I found this notebook. It's called Google Colab. So each of the code and even the libraries have mentioned it, and I'll be sharing that too. It's all with information, so that saves a lot of steps. But just for information, so these are 3 libraries that we'll be using. And so first step that I said was that we need to get the URL, and we need to read the URL in Python. So to read the Python URL in Python, we need this library called URL lib request. So this basically opens the HTML code and saves it it saves our connection in the Python. So we can basically extract the information that we want. So once you have this imported, you need to parse the file. So the HTML code is all about tags, but Python cannot read tags right now. So beautiful. So basically what it does, it's a very interesting name if you
I
Beautiful
like the
So.
names. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Pandas. Why we're talking about pandas.
it's all fun names here. So yeah, so you just basically this library converts your HTML codes into tags, so you can easily access each tag and its information. So this helps you access the tags and the attributes from the HTML code. And pandas is actually just to store those information into data frames. So if you have worked with any other programming language, you must have heard of array or 2D array, 3D array. So it's just storing those information into like a Excel kind of format, rows and columns. So this would just store the information, and then you can just output it into any file, CSV, HTML, or any other things.
So it puts it into a table.
Yes, exactly, like just a table. So you have any more manipulation to do, you can use this pandas and do all those things.
Okay.
And a question about Python for anybody. I've not used it. Is it free to download? Do you have any idea?
Yes, it's actually free for download, but I came across this other thing called Google Colab. I think it's even more better than using those Python tools in your system, because that actually gives you more flexibility of adding comments, running your code part by part. It's kind of very cool. I'll show you that in maybe next one, and you can easily execute and share your code with your friends or someone who wants to maybe make some changes. It's all very easy to work on.
And Google Collab is free too?
Yes, that's free. You just need a Google account.
Okay.
We have no reason not to do this then.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Let's just jump into the example here.
I'm web scraping this afternoon.
Yes. So we would be using these two functions a lot in our code. So I thought I'd just quickly talk about this. So basically what it does is when you have your tags ready, for example, if you have a tag called A for the links, and you want to extract all the links from the HTML page, you just have to pass the beautiful soap object, which I call here Sue, and find all and the tag name. That's all you need to do, and it will print you all the tags with the A as, all the lines with A as tag.
Okay.
And if you're trying to access a particular attribute from the tag, for example, I'm trying to access this href. Href is basically the link of the tag. So I want to access this link specifically, not the whole line. So I just mentioned that, give me all the tags, but just show me the attribute href, which gives me the link for the line.
Gotcha.
So this is basically when you have to get all the list. But if you have just one or just want to get the first one, you just have to use find. It works in the same way, but it just returns the first tag with A or first element with the href. That's all.
So I guess that runs faster if you just want to look at it really quickly, or does that make no sense?
Exactly. So when I'm just building my logic, I use something like find because I just need to understand how to get my tags. But when I'm actually building my code, I use this find all and then iterate on top of that and get all my rows, columns, and data. So that's all it is.
Using top 10 in SQL instead of running the whole thing, you just use top 10 really quickly and figure out the rest.
Yes, sort of like that could be the, yeah.
Okay.
So this would give you all the tags. This would just show you the one of them for sample.
Okay.
Good. Great. So now we can jump into the actual part.
Actual example.
Yes. I know. I'm excited. Now, question. Well, I might have to ask you offline. How hard is it to scrape sound and images? Images and sounds you can do the same way as other data on websites, or is it different?
Yes. Sound I've never tried actually, but images is not too tough.
Okay.
I do have a code in handy that I can share with you. It's using the image to extract from a website called IMDb. All of the images from top 50.
Okay, cool.
Okay, right. So this is what I spent by Google Colab. It's a notebook, and you can actually let me just show you around. So if you see, there's a code and there's some text in between. I'm just trying to explain what I'm trying to do in each step.
Okay, so this is Google Colab.
Yes, that's Google Colab. I can even add headers. I can say, I just hide my sheets. I want to show my output. I don't want people to get confused. I'll just close all of them and keep it ready.
Okay.
That's a good idea. Good way to keep notes on your code.
Great. Okay, so back to our libraries first. So our first step is actually to import these libraries, all 4 of them. I spoke about these 3 in my session, but this was missed out because actually this is just a specific library to save it to Excel. I prefer using Excel, so I'm using this particular library. That's all it is. And in Google Colab, the best part of using this is you already have these libraries installed, and you can check that using this command I've added here. So I'll just run this up. Still connecting.
You're running code in Google. Here I thought this was just to take notes, but you're actually running
No,
the
actually
code.
it's actually both. That's the best part. You can add notes and you can add your information and you can share this with any person. So when I share my material, you'll have this ready with you. You can just run this and play around with it.
I thought you were going to open Python. Okay.
This is Python, right? But
exactly,
different version of Python, pretty much.
This is basically like a notebook online. It's like Anaconda, those kind of things that people use. It's all collaborating your codes together with some textual information.
It's running through Python, but you have this is your interface, though.
Right, exactly.
Okay, I like
That's all it is.
It's less intimidating.
It's very less intimidating. And also you have all the libraries installed already, so you don't have to install these. I ran this pip list. So pip is actually used to install libraries, and I'm just asking them to show me all the libraries that are present in Google Colab. So I need URL lib, Soap, Pandas, and Excel Writer. So if I just walk through here, I would see this present. This is the latest version, so that's why it's 3, and you also have the other ones ready here, like Beautiful Soap. That's also present here.
I think I saw Panda.
Yeah, I saw Panda too.
Yes, Pandas is present. Yeah. The only one that was not present is Excel, so I had to install that here. So you have the Beautiful Soap here present, PS4. So everything is already ready, and you don't have to install this. So that's the reason this is easy to use if you don't want to actually go through installing Python and the package. So that's the best part. And once you run the code, you can even close this output because it's a long text. So just click on this, it's closing the output here.
Okay.
So I didn't have this installed already, so I had to install this. So this is a basic step here, just pip install and the library name. And this would get me the file, the library that I need. So it's all done here. I can close this up again.
This is cool.
Yeah, and just moving to the final important steps that we need to do. So these are the libraries that I have already added here, each one of them. And while adding them, I gave them an alias kind of thing because it's hard to spell the whole name again and again in the code. So I'll be calling it soup. And this is like URL open.
Yeah, and I mean, we assign aliases in Tableau and in SQL, so okay.
Yeah, that's right. So that's what I'll be using in my code. So once I run this, it just assigns the library. This is done. So moving on to the next step. So I have my libraries ready, and I need to just move on to the main step, that is get my URL. And in this case, I have this URL ready. Let me open this up.
Is that from the television show, The Good Place?
Yes. Yeah, I'm actually a fan of this show.
That is a hilarious show. Have you seen that, Danushki?
I have not.
Okay, you should watch it.
Yeah,
it has Kristen
really
Bell.
good.
I love her. We could make a whole conversation about this show. Okay.
Sure we can. Yeah, so basically what I'm trying to do here is, so I took this example, Wikipedia, because this is the most usual way of getting data. I'm pretty sure we have a lot of text in this and we can use it for some analysis. And I thought, let's take this for example. I want to get all these information from here, all the journals, starting and everything until this external links, so whole box. So that's my link here, and I have added the link here. I'm assigning to a variable called URL, and I just want to open this link because first I need to access the link and save it to a path called page HTML, and then I can do any analysis on this. So once I have this, I can just run this up.
And as somebody that likes to use IMDb for data for various different businesses, I think it's going to be life-changing because I can't tell you how painful it is to go grab all of the data for each episode when I'm doing a biz. I'm very excited.
Okay, great. So this has run. The path has been assigned and the page has been set. If I want to see if my page is assigned, I can just do a print page HTML. It's all. And it would print me the whole page, which is the response to the page. So that's the thing stored here. And
This
I
looks
can
so
just close
easy.
it up. Yeah. And moving on to the next step. So we have the page ready, but we can't read it in Python because it's in the different format. So we use Beautiful Soap to basically parse this HTML and make it usable for Python. It's just this basic step. So I'm just saying I'm giving it a variable page soup, and I'm using the alias soup that I added on the library, and I'm saying that this page HTML page needs to be passed as HTML. So once I run this up, it converts that page and just prints me the whole page. It just gives me access to the whole page. So it's a bit intimidating at this time, but it will get easier. Don't worry. So
But that's the
that's
HTML
just
for the
the
page.
that's the
Okay.
whole page. Yeah, that's the
Okay.
whole page.
The
So that's
HTML
the reason.
code for the Wikipedia page that we just opened.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Okay.
right. Yeah. Great. So now we
Now
have the whole page, but we don't care about the whole page. It's a mess and we can't handle that much. So now the important step is to find us the outer HTML tag. So like I showed in an example, there's a table tag and everything was inside that. So I'm searching for something that I can use as a subset. So inside subset is everything that that I want to check.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, it's this box. So if I just want to get the code for this HTML box, I come to my second step, that is inspect the code. Just click right click here and inspect.
Oh.
That's all you have to do.
Ooh, and then you find that exact spot where the data is.
Exactly, yeah. So once I did the inspect, it points
Ah.
me to this variable. It just highlights the whole box.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I'm looking for. But let me just show you around a little bit. So if I
Info
hover on
box.
each of them, it basically tells me that each one of them is a row. It's like a TR row in each section. I can just access each information using this TR tags.
Oh my gosh.
So it's that easy. So that's what you need. But since I want to just get the subset of data first, so I'll be just taking this name. You just have to click on this, save the name. And if you see, this is a table and this is the attribute. So table is a tag and class info, whatever this is, it's a attribute here. So
Yeah.
I could just copy this text and I'll go back to my code. So I found my outer section, which is that class. And all I have to do is I created a new variable called table outer. And I'm just saying that this page soup that I captured on top step, which is the whole code, HTML code, I just want to find the table with the attribute class and the name infovent.
This is what you were talking about before, the find versus find all.
That's right. So in this case, I just want the first case. I don't want, if there's any more of data with same name, I don't care because I just need the first one. So I'm using find here.
Yeah.
So that's the reason here find is used. And I would just click on this and show you the output. So if you see, it's capturing the table class that I showed you there
Mm-hmm.
and the whole section.
Nice. Wow.
That's all.
That's the whole box.
Exactly. So now that data is little clear, you don't have to worry about the whole HTML code. It's just your portion of the code that you need. And this is your subset of data, basically.
Nice.
So once we have this subset data ready, let's go back to the code again. Okay, so if you see something that is common in all the lines, it's TR. I mean, this TR is basically getting repeated everywhere. If I scroll below and keep checking, it's all with TR. So I could maybe use TR to get all the tags with TR and then iterate on top of that. So let me go back to my text again. So I have this table outer saved. What I want to do is I want to get all the TR tags that have this TR from this text itself. So I'm just using the name of the uh, whole text, find all, because I need all of them, not just the first one, and TR. So if I run this up, I
So
would,
that's giving everything that has TR in it.
right, that's all of TR. So you'll have everything like this, and it's comma separated. Let me find that comma for you. So you see, these are one element, so one tr and then a comma, then again other tr. So each of them is separated like that. It's sort of like an array. You have each element ready. You just need to access each of them separately now.
Gotcha.
So that's been done. You got your main part, and you just need to understand how to get the individual section from this. So I mean, this could be done in a quick way, but I want to take it from a slow section. So I'll be taking one header at a time, and let's start with the headers over here. So if I right click on this journal here, it points me to this th under tr. So that means that tr has a th that has this genre name that I can use. Similarly, if I do this for created by, it would come in the same way. So what seems to be common here is that every one of them has a th, and I can just get this created by from using th. So that's what I'm going to use here. I'll take th in consideration, and I would just start with getting this up here. So this is next. Yeah, so I have this tr tags that I showed you with all of them. What I'm trying to do here is just a basic.
Hi, baby James.
I had to mute myself because he's trying to talk to you guys. Sorry.
Priyanka, you're teaching 3 people now.
Yeah,
The
he's
youngest candidate.
All right.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, so I have all the tags in place, but I need to access one of them. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to iterate on each of the tags. So I'm taking a variable tr and I'm saying iterate on each of the element separated by comma, and get me the header for one of them. So let me make this even more simpler. I'll just show you one sample text. So this was the tr tags that we had. So it's like a array. You can say you can access each of them with number. So if I try accessing something like tr tag 0, which is the first one, the good place, I would get that good place here. So I got the whole text, which is extra text. So I don't want to see all of this. I just want the name of the header. So what I have to do is just add text here. That would give me the thing I need. That's all it needs. And the same would apply to any of the number. If I check tr2, it gives me the same thing, genre. That's so 0, 1, 2. This is genre. If I try maybe composer, I would get the same, maybe 5. So yes, so that's all it's needed. So I have this logic ready, but the problem is I have a bunch of them and I can't really write each of them. So that's why I'm switching to a simpler step using a loop. So I'm just adding this for loop here. And the problem is in some cases, there's no header. When I was trying to build this logic, I noticed that some places there's no header, like the good place is just an image and it doesn't have a header. So what happens is when you remove this tr, the code fails because it's saying that there's no th. I can't find the header in this scenario. So I've added this try, except it's like a error handling box. It's just saying that if this works, it's good. Let me get this portion and I will try running this without a try block because I'll show you what happens without it. So the number one rule with Python is that it really is important to do indentation in this case. Like other programming language, we used to use a bracket or something, but in Python, it's all about indentation. So you need to literally stick to it, and else it will throw you an error called indentation error, or maybe something is wrong. So just make sure this is properly indented in this code. So that's the reason I just formatted it properly. So I'll just try running the same part. So this is the same thing that I showed you, adding the text, and I'll just run this up. So, yeah. Right. So when I ran this, it showed me the first one, but the second one in here, let's go here. Second one is actually image. It doesn't have any header. So that's the reason it gave me this error called no object found with th at this line. And that's the reason I'm using a try block. I'm telling my code that if you don't see this tag, just ignore it and go to the next line.
Got it.
Now when I run this code, which has a try block, I would see the tags coming properly. So I see good place, I see genre created by, and up to external links. I think that's the one.
Nice.
So this is the last one that you saw over there. So this actually gives you all the tags, and in case there's no header available, and if you have any doubts on your code that there might be chances that this tag is not available in any case, always make sure to use this try and accept block. It would handle it for you. You don't have to worry about it then. It's very easy to use, just to try and accept. That's all.
Got it.
So I got my headers and that's good, but I do have other data in this. So if I go back, each of the header has a value inside it. And now that I want each of them to capture both of them, let me find a way to get this. Like I'll do the same, inspect on this. It points me to this link. If you notice, this is a link actually. So that's the reason it's using this A tag. It's telling me that it's actually a text with a link. So it says comedy and it has a link to Wikipedia television comedy that just takes you to the page. And what I want to do is only capture the text. I would not go with the link right now. So to make it easy, I'll just take the tag from A. So if I hide this part and if I go back to TR, the whole section, you would see that the TR highlights TH, which is the header that we just got, and there's a row that is TD. So if I use this TD to get my values, that could actually work. So let's go back and try that thing here. Let's scroll below and just do the same. So I'm gonna change this up here. I would say TR tags, and I would just make this 2 because 2 is genre. So I need these texts from genre, and I would say find TD. And I need the text, so I'll just add the same thing and just run this up. So it basically gave me something like this, each of them, and it's like a new line character. It's saying me that this is all in new line in the code, so that's how it's coming up here. But the problem is I don't actually want this to be in this way because I have to store the data properly. Like I have to store this like genre comedy, genre philosophy, or genre fantasy. So I want each of them in single rows. So I have to look for a different approach to get this. And that takes me to the next trial here, which is okay, sorry, I'll just quickly show you this too. So while I was trying to get my header tags using this approach, I also got the TD text. So if I try and combine the same text with the same try and accept block, what do I get? Let's check the output here. So if you see over here, it's giving me something like this. I get a genre, I get all the 3 or 4 values, and it's capturing everything. So if I just want to make sure everything comes up here.
And what about the dash lines? Is the code putting that into?
Yes. So I wanted to have the separation properly because it's all clumsy here. So I added some dashed line in between both of them. So that's the reason you see double here. I think I can remove one of them and this would get hidden.
Got it.
That's only reason just for clarity. So this gives you the output properly, but this is not easy to store data. So that's the reason I look for some different alternative. I'll just close this output here and move on to the final and cleaner output here. So before I start with the actual code, there's other concept called list in Python. It's just like a variable storing all your values. So if I say list, basically what it must be like, it would be storing my values in something like this format. And when I want to print this together, I can combine the list into a table kind of format and then store that into my output. So I will be using these three lists to capture my three main things, which is header and values. And I've also added one more thing as order, because there are multiple tags and I want to make sure that everything is captured. So I'm adding the order number of these tags too. So that's the reason we have three lists here.
Yeah.
That's all it is. You just have to run this. It would create a blank list. I can just check that up here. It's just blank right now, nothing is there. We will be adding data to that. So that's in the main code that we have here. This is the same code with a little more enhancements. So if I start with this portion, there's a lot of for loop. So I just have to, clearly tell that here. So the first part is here, the same thing. I'm trying to get the text from the file. So what seems to be happening is a couple of places, there's just one value, like this has just one value, this has just one value, but these have multiple values. So what I want to do is I want to consider this as a single row and not a concatenated text instead, so that I can store each of them separately into single rows and not like one set of data.
Okay.
So basically, if I try storing the data right now in the format that I showed in the last text, I would get something like and maybe something ABC. So every person would come under the same bucket. But what I actually want to store is session and ABC separate. So that way I can easily use it in my analysis, and I don't have to do a lot in Tableau.
Yeah, it'll be all in each row instead of all clumped together.
Exactly, right, that's right. So that's the reason I have to find a way to understand which has one row and which has multiple rows. So to get that, I'll do the same method. I'll do inspect of this code, and I would see that there's a separate tag inside TD. It's called UL. So UL is basically a list. So it's just creating a list with 4 items. So 4 rows of data, list 1, list 2, list 3, and list 4. And I could maybe use this list to get my rows. So I can iterate on top of this and get them each in single rows.
Okay.
And if I show you this other one that has just one line, that is not present here. So this one doesn't have a list, it just has a row, TD. So that separates the part here. So I can use that in this approach. And I can create a try block again. I would say if I would get the text here and the header the same way that I did back then, and get these 2 portions set here, and then check for anything that has a UL tag. So when I'm trying to do this, let me show you that in an easy way. I would go back to this. So if I try doing this on 2, which is genre, I would see 4 lines of data. So I have these individual ones, and I can use this to get each of them separately. So I would go back to my main code.
So it's a little bit of trial and error.
Yeah, it's actually all trial and error. So once I understand that that's the list and I can use that here, so I check if this text has a UL tag. If it has a UL tag, what I can do is I can just capture all the LI. So I can just go back there below and I can get all my li in the same way. I get all of the 4 for this particular row. And once I have that, I would do the same thing that I did in the first code. I would iterate on that. I would use the same approach. I would iterate on this big list and get my text from the URL. So that's this dot text. So I cannot use. So if I am using text, I need to make sure it's only one of them. So I can't use all with that. So for testing purpose, let's just use one of them. And this gives me comedy. That's the first one. And if I do the second here, if I want to check by all, I could do the same here. I could maybe check 2. And that gives me fantasy 4-5. So it's capturing the whole information in this case.
Yeah.
So this is I can use this here to get my individual elements. So I'll go back to my code. So I'm using the same thing. I'm using li. So li is currently my variable. It stores this value. So I can use li dot text to get the value. And I am just trying to display this in a good format. So if I go back to output, you would see genre comedy, genre fantasy, genre. So that's all I'm doing in the print statement, just to display my output in a cleaner way. And once I have that ready, I have my data and I need to add this to my list. So list that I created was empty. I would just append this here, which would mean that my list would add this part in the empty list would have this element in my list, which I can use in my future analysis. So all I have to do is give the list name, use append function, and pass the variable that I created. So that in this case, it's I, and it just created that, and I passed all 3 of them in this similar manner. Okay, so in case I do not have a UL, I just have one of them. There's an else statement that just gets a text from the file the same way that we got in the first case. I just did a ctr find and got my td and got that and concatenated in this way. So this would give me the same output that I have. So if I go down.
What does the else statement do, Priyanka? Sorry to.
Sure. No problem. I'll just go back here. So in my case, there are 2 cases, 2 kind of scenarios in this case. So one of them has a li statement, li tag, and one of them has a td tag. So I'm trying to understand if my tag has a ul, that is li, and and get the list from that. If I don't have that, I will just get from the td.
Got it.
So just this simple text from here.
Yeah, so one of them has a list with more than one, and the other one has just one row to it, or one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. That's the case. That's the case. So once I have that all set up here, and I did the same over here, the append part. So this would just append the list with my new records, and this is just a clumsy way of showing my output, but this is how I'm trying to.
And it's Tableau friendly because it's vertical layout, right? Where every has category or whatnot.
Right. So that's just the output here. So this is the major section that you have. So you have extracted all the information. I'll just close this since it's a very long text. And now we come to the main part, that's storing your information. So that's where I'm using pandas. So if you remember, I showed you these 3 lists back then, and in which I appended my output. So what I'm trying to do is I'm appending all of them together like a table. So currently they were single array list, and now I'm making it look like a table. So when I combine them together with column header like this, and if I print this up, this would show you the output in a tabular manner, probably. Okay, I think I did run this here. Yeah, so something like this. So I get my header, I get my value, and everything in that format that I showed in the Excel.
Nice.
Dobhal.
I love that. It's already done for you. It's in your Tableau format. And now how do you transport this to an Excel sheet or CSV or whatnot?
Yes, that's right. That's the final step. It's a pretty easy step. So all I have to do is use the Excel writer, the function that I had, pass for my folder. So you just need to remember that it's always double quotes. Double slash here. So double slash is how Python reads the path. So double path, Excel engine is Excel writer. This is just a worksheet name. You can do it anything. So once I click on this, it saves the files for me in the Excel format.
And what if you wanted to do like a CSV or a text? Is that?
Yes, that's possible too, but I think there's a different library for that. So this is
Okay.
specifically for Excel.
That's right.
But there's a library for CSV that you can use. It's the same way, pretty simple.
Yeah, and you've downloaded this library specifically for the Excel version.
That's right, yes.
That was awesome. So
I can't wait to go use this.
Yeah, it says it's saved. So you have it downloaded somewhere in your local.
Yes, I'm just trying to get it up. Yep, so this is the file. I have it. So these were the tag number and the headers, everything properly set.
Wow.
It still needs some formatting, like these 58 episodes. Some kind of formatting is needed, but I think that could be.
But most of the work is done, right?
Yeah, that's most of it.
That's pretty cool. So it is a lot of trial and error, and it's a lot of like inspecting the code and trying to grab a little bit of like tidbits of information from the website code and then bring it into your code.
That's right. Yep.
And not every website's going to be the same, obviously. So each time you try to scrape a website, the code's going to be specific to that website.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Even HTML, even the Wikipedia page might have some differences. So it's possible that the same code may not work for some other website in Wikipedia. So there's high chances it's all trial and error.
Yeah. So a little bit of digging and you should be good to go.
But that would be still a lot faster than clicking and saving.
That's right.
That was awesome, Priyanka. Thank you so much. I mean, I found that very valuable, and I will definitely be using it. But do you mind sharing your code and this example with us so that we can post it?
Sure. I'll be sharing this up.
Awesome.
James has a question.
Thank you.
Question.
Yes.
What's your question? Adya. Can you say thank you? Thank you so much.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.